everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining. Thank you all for being with us today for the Claris Products Roadmap. We're excited to have many of you from around the world, so let's get started. We hope you have a great experience in today's webinar, and if you have any technical issues with GoToWebinar, please contact LogMeIn Technical Support at 1-833-851-8340. Outside of the US, please call 0-800-031-4760. During today's presentation, you will have an opportunity to type in questions. Let's talk briefly about how to enter a question. Simply go to the control panel, click on the questions section, enter your question, and click send. We'll cover as many questions as time allows at the end of our presentation, but if you have a question, please do not hesitate to send it in. Now let's talk about the caveats of the product roadmap. This roadmap communication is provided to you with guidance and insight into our plans around core platform functionality planned for the next few releases. Plans are subject to change, and we make no guarantee that any given feature will necessarily ship. This presentation is being shared for informational purposes only, not as a binding commitment. Do not rely on this information for making purchasing or business decisions. Development, release, and timing of any products, features, or functionality remains at the sole discretion of Claris International Inc. and is subject to change. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Vice President of Products and Design, Srini Garapu.
Thanks, Eric. Hello, everyone. I'm super thrilled to have my team share with you our product vision and the roadmap, what we plan to do for all the Claris products in the coming years. At Claris, our vision and mission has always been to make powerful technologies available to everyone so that we can enable the workplaces around the world to participate in the digital transformation successfully, affordably, and quickly. And we do that by enabling you to build custom apps, API integrations, and workflow automation native experiences in the modern apps that we build. And we also embrace both cloud native and hybrid deployments as equal citizens. We refer to that as a cloud first strategy. And our success is largely defined by the global community of the developers and the partners that we have worldwide. At Claris, we call ourselves as a cloud first company. And this cloud first is a very deliberate and very well thought through strategy. What this means is we embrace both cloud and on-prem as equal citizens. We do not call ourselves as a cloud only company, but rather a cloud first company. And this is defined across three things. The first, the new in the cloud. All the new products that we're building, or going forward in some of the new capabilities, they will be built in the cloud using cloud native technologies. And the second part of the cloud first strategy is we are investing a lot in building migration tools so that if you're an on-prem customer, your journey to the cloud will be as seamless and effortless as possible. And that's something that will be built into the products. And the third one is on-premise. As we said, on-premise is extremely important to our cloud first strategy. The thing that we are investing in is to make our cloud and on-prem come up with a unified product experience. In other words, we are investing in a unified console, unified security, unified elasticity, and the performance capabilities, so that it's your choice to be in the cloud or on-prem, regardless of your choice of deployment for the Claris products, your experience of the product will be the same. Now let's look at our products. One is Claris is no longer a single product company. We are now investing in a multi-product strategy. It starts with a market-leading product, Claris FileMaker, which allows all of us to create custom apps. The second product that we are launching is Claris Connect, which is an integration orchestration service that allows us to seamlessly connect many cloud and on-prem data services. At the same time, we are investing in a third product called Claris NextGen. NextGen is a code name that allows us to build workflow apps where we can build both relational and the workflows into one seamless product experience. All these products share a common core. We now refer to that as a Claris core. Claris core includes the cloud-first experience, which is for both on-prem and the cloud. We'll have a common security fabric with capabilities such as single sign-on and end-to-end encryption, a common UI in the console, and we're also investing in a common store or marketplace that powers all the three products. So Claris core is the foundation on these three multi-products are built. Just to give you a little bit more into the Claris core and the security, we are investing a lot of resources in our cloud fabric. It starts with security, with both SecOps and the SecDevOps, where we have end-to-end military-grade encryption that meets some of the industry certifications such as FIPS 140-2 level 3. And we have capabilities such as single sign-on with multi-factor authentication and advanced security capabilities such as application level DDoS and even using things such as artificial intelligence and machine learning based insider and external threat protection. And at Claris, we are embracing agility. To facilitate faster and agile deployment, we're investing a lot of resources in the DevOps for both cloud and on-prem or the private cloud experience. And the last but not least is the cloud ops that provides 24/7 availability across the world in more regions around the world. So this is the multi-product strategy. And before we share the roadmap, I also want to take an opportunity to celebrate some of the recent launches. We just launched our FileMaker Cloud in October, and we also launched the trial ETS that many of you have been already part of for the FileMaker 19. And we've also launched the Claris Connect ETS end of October. So one thing that is probably already familiar with the Claris community around the world is that going forward, to help our workplaces to participate in the digital transformation, all our technology and the roadmap is aligned across the 4 pillars. The first one is cloud first, and where cloud does not just necessarily mean the agility or the elasticity, but all the capabilities such as security, better product experience, single sign-on, and an integrated marketplace, all are built into our cloud first strategy, and it's both in the cloud and on-prem. And second pillar is web and mobile. At Claris, we were committed to building our apps or allowing you to build your apps that deliver the rich native experience no matter what device that the user is on. To facilitate that, we are investing a lot in making web and mobile as one of the technology pillars for our innovations going forward. And the third one is integrations, the APIs, workflows, orchestration, automation. In the world that we live today, every new app that we're building or every modern experience that we're building need to seamlessly integrate with many building blocks that are already available in the cloud, such as billing, payments, surveys, analytics. So we need to be able to seamlessly integrate these services into the modern apps that we are building. So we are investing a lot in the integration and automation as a third pillar. And the last but not least is all the emerging technologies, such as artificial intelligence, machine and deep learning, IoT, and blockchain. With that 4 pillars, we are investing in a 2-pronged roadmap. The first is the FileMaker that we all know and that we all have been using for many decades. We are investing a lot of resources in modernizing the FileMaker platform with more modern and advanced capabilities. And the second one is, as I said earlier, Claris is evolving from a single product company with FileMaker to a multi-product company. And first of that is Claris Connect, which is our integration orchestration service, and the next-gen product. So with this, I now would invite Sangeeta and the rest of my team to walk through the individual product investments.
Thank you, Srini. This is Sangeeta, and I'll talk about cloud. Speaking of cloud first, I would like to highlight two key points. First, cloud is our common foundation for all products, including Connect. Next, as Srini mentioned earlier, cloud first does not mean cloud only. It spans across both cloud and on-premise. We will provide unified experience both on cloud and on-prem. Having said that, we are heavily investing in the following 6 categories on cloud. First is create new in cloud. You will be able to create new apps directly on cloud, and you can also do direct download from FCC. In a bit, Robert will cover more on creating new apps on cloud. Second is integrations. We already provide authentication via FMID today. We will also add support for SSO integrations with other popular OAuth providers like Okta, Ping, Azure AD, as well as integrate with Apple Federated Identity. For on-prem, we will integrate with on-premise Active Directory. Additionally, we will add webhooks for data in the Claris FileMaker cloud so that Connect can listen to events using webhooks. Third is our support for migration to cloud. As Srini mentioned earlier, we are actively working on migration strategy to help you migrate to cloud easily. We want to make that journey effortless. We will publish APIs so that you can easily upload apps in cloud. We will also provide APIs to support schema upgrade, and we will continue enhancing our migration capabilities. Fourth is our unified customer console. As I mentioned earlier, for a seamless experience, we are unifying experience on cloud and on-premise. On the cloud side, we will unify the Claris customer console and our cloud admin console into a single console. And for on-premise, we will have unified console on FileMaker on-prem Linux server VM. Last but not the least is our partner console. I'm excited to share that we will provide multi-tenant partner portal so that our partners can easily manage licenses, contracts, and have a 360-degree view of their customers enriched with monitoring capabilities.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert. I'm the product manager for the FileMaker clients. Now, in the area of web, as Srini mentioned earlier, we're making some heavy investments in our web technologies to bring you the ability to auth your apps directly in the web, as well as providing a first-class web experience to your users when they're consuming the apps that you've created. And as you heard from Sangeeta just moments ago, we're also introducing the ability for you to create apps directly up on the cloud. And once you've created those, you'll be able to edit and extend your apps without leaving the browser. With our authoring in the web, this is going to be easier than ever thanks to some new features we're introducing, like relative positioning. With this, when you're creating your layout and you're dragging fields into a column, they'll automatically size themselves appropriately. Everything will be spaced automatically. And if you were to move a field in between two objects, as an example, they would actually move out of the way for you automatically. This means that you're going to be able to create or quickly create gorgeous layouts with very little effort. Now, we're also introducing JavaScript support across all of our clients via the web viewer. With this, you'll be able to leverage literally thousands of JavaScript libraries, with new ones coming from the community, the JavaScript community, every day. And they cover use cases like Kanban boards, pivot tables, horizontal scrolling lists, galleries, calendar views. The list is practically endless, and as I said, continuing to grow. Now, I realize that many of us don't know JavaScript and don't have much of an interest in learning JavaScript, but I want you to know that we have you covered. We're going to be creating a series of new templates, and these will have baked right into them examples of using these JavaScript libraries. So Not only will you be able to see the power and the value of leveraging these libraries, but you'll have great examples right out of the box of how you can leverage them for your custom app. And then taking that even farther, we're taking all of those JavaScript library examples that we're building into the templates and turning them into what we're referring to as add-on components. Now, an add-on is made up of tables, any layouts, and any JavaScript necessary to facilitate a particular bit of functionality. So example being that calendar view that I mentioned earlier. And instead of you having to write any of that JavaScript yourself, you can simply install that add-on component. FileMaker will add all the relevant pieces for you automatically. Then you just simply drag and drop that element onto your layout. And in the future, we're even going to allow you all in the community to create your own add-on components that you can share with your team, as well as the community as a whole. So what this means is not only will you be saving time in your app development, but we're also going to make that powerful functionality that the top members of our community that are currently able to create, we're going to make that available to all of us, regardless of our skill level. Now, this last feature I know is one that people are really excited about, and that's support for cards coming to FileMaker WebDirect. So those cards that you've been using in FileMaker Go, FileMaker Pro for a while, you'll now have access to that coming up soon in the web. Now, moving over to the mobile section, we're going to be introducing support for Core ML. And what this will allow you to do is take a pre-trained Core ML model and drop it into a container field that you can then leverage to do predictions. Now, there's lots of use cases for Core ML. One of the most popular that we hear a number of requests for is image recognition. So for example, you'd be able to drop an image into one of your container fields, identify what's in that image, and then make it searchable across your app. And because we're leveraging Core ML, it's important to note that any data processing that happens will actually happen on your device. So if you're sensitive about sending your data out over a wire, it's a benefit of using Core ML. And this is something worth pointing out that we're bringing this to not only FileMaker Go on iOS, but also on FileMaker Pro for macOS. Now, with read NFC tags, this is going to allow your iOS device in FileMaker Go to read data directly off an NFC tag, sticker, or card, and then take that data and perform actions on it in the scripting engine. With Siri shortcut support, we're allowing you as FileMaker developers to specify scripts that can then be made available to your end users, so that when they're creating Siri shortcuts, which are essentially just automations that can be triggered using your natural language processing or using your voice to control these actions, not only will users be able to leverage native apps that are installed on their device, but then any functionality that you've made available from your custom app. And then finally, something that I'm sure caught many of your attentions right away as soon as we put this slide up, we're very excited to announce that we're also heavily investing in an Android client. Our goal is to provide a consistent experience, first-class experience for mobile across not just iOS, but also the Android platform. So please stay tuned. We will be doing an Android beta in the future to gather feedback from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. This is Sangeeta again, and I'll talk about Connect now. So before I start talking about getting into the roadmap, I would like to share what Claris Connect is about. Claris Connect is an integration platform as a service that will help you automate your repetitive tasks and business processes from simple to complex by connecting to third-party apps and services and FileMaker apps on cloud and on-premise. We will launch Claris Connect in the first quarter of FY20. We will launch Connect with its rich functionalities that will allow you to map APIs, transform data by adding additional conditional logic, schedule workflows, create approval workflows, create flows from templates, and more via an easy-to-use graphical interface. We are already in ETS. We started it in October and have a lot of partners participating and sharing their feedback. If you are interested in joining the program, please send me an email. Now, beyond that, we are already working on the roadmap, and here are the 3 core areas of investment: flow management, flow enhancement features, and enhanced programmability. I'll cover the first 2 and then invite Giuliano to cover the third. On flow management, we will enhance admin functionalities. So we will provide some advanced dashboard features which will allow like team managers and admins to have a holistic view of the projects and flows. Example, which team member is using which flow, total number of flows used, total number of projects shared, and more. We will also add support for serial workflow. So now what that means is, if say multiple events get triggered for the same flow, then we will use first in and first out method to serialize the flow, or have the user specify the execution order. That is, one flow waits until the other gets done. Now we will be launching Connect with out-of-the-box templates so that you can easily jumpstart your integration process. Now, besides the out-of-the-box templates, we will also add template creator so that you can create templates specific to your business needs, and that can be used by your team members across your organization. Next is the flow enhancement features. We will continuously work on enhancing the user experience. One key area that we will be enhancing is the experience for new flow authoring. We will also add more power to the flow by providing data storage so that you can store data from various data sources and perform advanced capabilities like analytics. Next is extensibility. We will support extensibility via code blocks. You will be able to extend the flow by creating custom APIs using JavaScript. No provisioning or deployment will be needed. Now I'll hand it over to Giuliano to cover the third one.
Yeah, speaking about enhanced programmability, at Claris Connect, we're focusing a lot on the programmability aspect of what is designed to be an open platform. With Connector Kit, we're going to allow anyone who wants to build and publish a connector to any API available out there, whether it's private, or internal app, or a public web service. With Flow API, instead, we will allow the creation of Flow by API, meaning that the Claris Connect UI won't be the only way to create automation. And this is extremely powerful because with developers, we'll be able to write scripts that can generate and deploy automation at scale. Talking about data triggers for FileMaker, as Sangeeta has anticipated earlier on the FileMaker side, thanks to the new webhooks implementation, the Claris Connect FileMaker integration will go deeper and will be able to listen for change in near real time at the data level and trigger any flow accordingly to that. And lastly, we're going to also cover on the iOS part the release of a client with Siri shortcut integration that will allow you to build device-to-cloud integration by leveraging the powerful personal automation capability of Siri shortcuts that lives in iOS device and that can trigger workflow on the Claris Connect side straight from a voice command.
Excellent. Thank you, Giuliano, Robert, and Sangeeta. We looked at all the planned enhancements across the three pillars, the cloud, web and mobile, and the integration side. And the last pillar is emerging technology. And it's in my interactions with many of the community members, I'm super thrilled to know and learn about the many interesting applications that our community already built, leveraging tools such as chatbots, some IoT connectors, and analytics and reporting. What we are doing is we are investing in some of these advanced technologies and make them part of the Claris products and the Claris platform. The first one is across the AI side. As Robert talked about, we will have native integrations to Core ML, where you can take an existing model and then use it and make it available into the Claris app experience. In addition, we're also integrating with Create ML, where you can actually build a model with using the Claris products themselves. And in the second part of the strategy and the AI is we are investing in native chatbots integration, with Siri NLP, but also other third-party chatbots, so that you could now have a chatbot integrated into the applications that you built. And the third part of the AI strategy is not only we want to integrate with all the Apple AI stacks like the Core ML and Create ML, We also want to enable for you to integrate with third-party AI stacks, whether it's through Amazon or the Google. So we want to make sure that we are committed to a multi-platform strategy. And the second part of the emerging technology is IoT. IoT is an important element for us. Many of our customers and the partners already built IoT-centric applications, and we already have partnerships. We are looking into ways to make that IoT-enabled applications native to the Claris products, by building more and more IoT device connectors. And the last part of the emerging technology is RPA. With our Claris Connect, we already have workflow automation for all the apps and services that have first-class RESTful APIs. With RPA, we can bring that same level of automation to manual processes without first-class RESTful APIs. Now, combining RPA into the Claris Connect, we can make automation seamless and automatic across both manual and the API-centric processes. That's the direction that we are headed. So with those 4 pillars, we want to talk about some of the additional enhancements and the changes that are coming in. Rick?
Thank you, Srini. This is Rick Kelman, and a couple of additional enhancements I'd like to bring to your attention. The first is the FM patch tool. Now, this is similar to the previously released fast data migration tool. With this tool, will allow developers to add, delete, and replace schema directly in their deployed apps. And in conjunction with the fast patch tool, it will really have many more capabilities available to you to be able to update your deployed apps and bringing data in. I'd also like to point out that in the next release of the FileMaker platform, we will be supporting Mac OS dark mode. And also there's an enhancement. We've got a number of requests from server admins, and this is related to our FileMaker data API log. We will be reflecting in that log the size of the bytes that are coming through the data API. This will allow developers much more visibility when they're managing these resources and monitoring the overall use. Next, I'd like to talk about, for the FileMaker release, the operating systems that we will be supporting. I'm not going to read through this. I'll leave it up as I'm talking about this overall, but this information will be made available in a number of ways to use, so don't worry about memorizing this now. This presentation will be posted on the community soon as well. But when we launch the next major version of FileMaker Pro, FileMaker Go, FileMaker Server, and FileMaker WebDirect, these are the operating systems and browsers that we'll be supporting. Now, the key takeaway here is that we are investing in the latest platforms, including on the mobile front for mobile browsers. And it's also worth noting that this is subject to change as we get closer. Operating systems come in, the minor versions change a little bit, but this is what we are aware of at this point. Next, I'd like to talk about the Claris Marketplace. Now, you may already be aware that we launched a new Claris Marketplace. The URL is here. And this contains a curated list of the best of the breed FileMaker apps, developer tools, extensions, training resources, and so on. But I want to talk a little bit about the future enhancements that we're planning for Marketplace. And we talked about it a couple of times already in this presentation. But the next step is to integrate directly into our products the ability to access the marketplace, be that in our customer console on the cloud, within FileMaker Go, within FileMaker Pro. And in that marketplace, of course, that's going to have both products from Claris, templates, and those sorts of things, as well as community-generated content that's both free and paid for. And ultimately, what we're looking at is to have our marketplace become an e-commerce engine that allows customers to directly purchase and download from within the products, both our offerings, but especially those created by the community. And of course, also you'll still be able to access that through claris.com. Now, I'd also like to give you information on some updates to our support policy. And we are going to be moving to more frequent product releases. And so we're adjusting our support policy to reflect that. And first off, we in the FileMaker platform, we will be supporting essentially our products in a 2-year time frames. And you see here the example. What that means is FileMaker 16 will be supported until the September of 2020, FileMaker 17, and FileMaker 18. And so those are the last of our sort of classic annual releases. As we move to the faster paced, agile, and quarterly releases, they'll still be supported in a 2-year time frame. So for example, you might have FileMaker 2020.2 available for 2 years, and then 3 months past that, the .3, and it'll just continue on a rotating basis. Now, the other thing I'd like to point out is that we will be providing these regular updates that include features and security and bugs to customers who are actively under subscription, either through an annual volume license or multi-annual license, as well as active maintenance. So if you have one of those, you'll receive our feature updates as well. If you have a product that's expired in maintenance or in your annual subscription, there will be a 2-year eligibility or 12-month, eligibility period after your license expires to still get those updates. Now, the reason this is important to us is that it enables us first to provide the best customer experience with the greatest and latest features, the most secure product, the most performant product, and that's in all of our best interest. Secondly, it allows us to focus resources on driving the digital transformation that's underway within our platform and of course out there in the larger tech world, so that we can focus on our cloud first enhancements, on our native web and excellent mobile experiences, our integrations and APIs, and all of the emerging tech that's coming. And also, I'd like to point out that we will end of life the runtime, the royalty-free runtime that's been part of FileMaker Pro Advanced. Now, we announced this back in FileMaker 14. It's been deprecated for quite a while. So we will be removing this functionality when we ship the next release of FileMaker Pro. And so a little bit about why we're removing this. We haven't made investments in this technology since we've deprecated. It's been many years. We're beginning to experience issues on newer platforms as they evolve and they become more secure. And this doesn't meet the standard that we want to hold here at Claris for the quality of excellence of our products. And so we do understand that many of you use runtimes as a way to demo your products to customers, and we will have alternatives in our knowledge base for suggestions about how you can accomplish that. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. In addition to the product and support policy updates, there are a few other additional updates that I would like to share with all of you. One is the simplified licensing model. So this is something that we get requests from many of you in the community. So our goals are very simple. We want to make sure that our licensing across both cloud and on-prem be consistent. And we also want to have a one easy model that takes into account for regular users, shift workers, and anonymous users. And we also want to deliver this cloud-first unified experience so that whether you choose to be on-prem or the cloud, you also have the seamless ability to migrate between cloud and on-prem. So we already have a working proposal and we are finalizing some of these details. Very soon, we will have a separate webinar and a communication to share with you on our simplified and consistent licensing model. And the second point that Rick briefly mentioned earlier is Claris, we are embracing agile release model. Our cloud and the Connect are already on an agile and a quarterly release model where we want to bring out faster innovation to allow our customers and partners to participate in the digital transformation. With FileMaker, the 19 will be the last annual release. After that, the Claris FileMaker will also adopt a faster and agile release process like all the other Claris products. Keeping up with that tradition, we also want to make sure that our roadmap communication with the community be also more frequent. Instead of following our annual tradition of this roadmap presentation, we want to provide more transparent and frequent updates to our roadmap, perhaps on a quarterly basis. And the last one is, we're also working on this new community called Customer Advisory Board. Our goal is to make most of you, all of you, be part of the roadmap. So we are going to be forming a customer advisory board, customer and partner advisory board, where several of you will have an opportunity to participate in our roadmap discussion so that you will be directly be a voice in what we do going forward. So wait for us for a communication to the community on our frequent releases, agile release model for FileMaker, and also the more frequent roadmap sessions, and having many of you the opportunity to participate in our roadmap and strategy going forward. So with that, I want to invite all of you to join me and my team and the entire Claris community in our journey together. The first and foremost is, as Sangeeta and Giuliano shared about, we share a lot of excitement and enthusiasm about our new product, Claris Connect, the integration orchestration. Our success, it defines is largely by how well we embrace the Claris Connect and integrate that into the apps that we build with FileMaker, or use Claris Connect to automate some of your workflows, business processes that you need to do for your customers. The Claris Connect success is extremely important for us. Please join us on the ETS and also build some flows, build some connectors, and once the Claris Connect becomes GA worldwide in January, I would want all of our customers to be part of the Claris Connect. And the second one is FileMaker Cloud. We invest a lot of resources in making FileMaker Cloud a reality. It's now available in GA. And please plan your journey to the FileMaker Cloud. You don't have to move to the cloud, but in one of those three tracks for our cloud first strategy, move to the cloud or plan your migration, or if you choose to be on-prem, embrace the cloud experience on your on-prem. Please plan your journey to the cloud. And the third one is, the only way we can succeed together in delivering the best experience to our customers is by making a commitment to be on the latest and greatest operating system, and also the latest FileMaker release. This allows us to ensure the best security and user experience and the performance. And the fourth one is contribute to our marketplace. Marketplace is an integral part of our success. We are now launching a new marketplace that allows you to share your applications with one another in the community. We are investing a lot of resources to add an e-commerce store, but at the same time, we are investing in marketplace to not just exchange your applications. We are investing in the marketplace to include your add-on components, the flows, the connectors, or the complete solution sets, and making that an integral part of a product. Please contribute to the marketplace with your ideas, whether that could be your app, your components, or the connectors or the flows that you build with Claris Connect. And the last but not least is, please continue to share your feedback. The only way we will collectively evolve together for better is by embracing your ideas, improvements, what we are doing right, what could be doing differently. Please continue to engage with us and share your feedback. So with that, I'm super excited to also talk about our next DevCon, which we are calling as Claris Engage, where you would have the opportunity to see some of the innovations and the roadmap that we talked about, to see the new product launches, Claris Connect, FM19, and some of the other roadmap items that we are working on. So Claris Engage is the opportunity for us to see many of the things that my team shared with you, to see them in action, or also get a peek into the next generation products that we are working on. It will be available both in US in Nashville, Tennessee, and we'll also have one Engage session in Europe in Lisbon.
Okay, so it is Q&A time, and we have quite a few questions. We'll answer as many as we can in the time that we have left. Let's start with the first one. We'll try to go through as many of these as we can.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, everyone. So the couple of questions that we want to answer. Number one is the simple things like, what is DevSecOps? This is all about our security operations for our cloud, and that covers all the Claris products. DevSecOps is a new trend where security is more integrated into the dev processes. It's also sometimes referred to as a shift left. The sooner that we integrate security into the develop processes, the better it will be. So we are investing in that shift left strategy, and DevSecOps is part of that. The second question is, what does RPA stand for? RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. It's an extension of Claris Connect. Claris Connect automates the workflows that have full RESTful APIs, whereas RPA allows you to automate processes that do not have APIs, where we can seamlessly integrate manual processes. So we are investing some resources in the RPA that will soon be part of Claris Connect. If you have any ideas, or if you have some of the RPA experiences, please share with us. The next question that I will take is about, will releases continue to be annual or much more frequent? And will new features come in the frequent updates, or just bug fixes and security updates? As we discussed, we are adopting a more agile and frequent release model. What that means is, we no longer, after we ship the FileMaker 19, we will no longer have an annual release for FileMaker. Claris Cloud and Claris Connect are already on this agile quarterly release plan. We will be using the same model for FileMaker. So when we go through more regular releases, these releases are not just meant for bug fixes. That is how we do things. That's how the new functionality will be rolled out across all Claris products. And that means we will be able to respond to more market developments much more quickly, much more capability, and much better, faster innovation. I'm going to have Sangeeta and Robert answer a few more questions. Sangeeta?
Yes. So I'll take the question. In the newly introduced FileMaker Cloud, is the newly introduced FileMaker Cloud substantially different from the FileMaker we have been using for the past couple of years, and in what way? Yes, it is significantly different. Right now, we have totally simplified the purchase and deployment process, and all your infrastructure, server, hosting, everything is now managed by Claris FileMaker, so that you can focus on building your apps. And as Srini mentioned earlier, we are heavily investing on our security monitoring to secure the infrastructure, all the way from the infrastructure all the way up to the application level. And security, as he mentioned earlier, includes both SecOps and DevOps, and so that you can focus on building the apps. And also the third piece is we have enhanced our backup capabilities. Now you can restore any file in the backups too. So those are the significant changes in our Claris Cloud. And you can also have your instance up and running in minutes from purchase to deployment. The next question that I'll take is, what is FCC? So FCC is your FileMaker customer console. It is your console from where you can create and share apps, where you can manage subscriptions, where you can see all your teams, groups, and so it's one-stop shop for your license management and sharing and subscription management. And now I'll pass it on to Giuliano for the Connect question.
Yeah, one of the questions was whether or not Claris Connect would be able to connect to SQL Server. The answer, of course, is yes. On that note, I'd like to highlight the fact that Claris Connect is going to be built, as said before, as an open platform. So third parties and our ecosystem of partners will be able to build more, even in the scenario where you don't find a connector that you need right away in the catalog that is part of the product.
I'll jump in and take a few here. So there was a question, what is ETS? ETS stands for our external testing service. This is where we allow customers to sign up and see new builds of things that are working here at Claris. We've got a number of questions here about how do I get invited, both for the FileMaker 19 as well as Claris Connect. So what we'll do is we'll post an email address up after this goes live, so that you guys can email and sign up for us. There was a question here very early on about, do we have any plans to produce FileMaker Go for Android, that there's clearly a market need. And as you saw later on in the presentation, we do have plans to create a client for Android. There was a number of questions here around what does this mean? Will it be just FileMaker Go ported over? This is something we're still heavily investing in, so stay tuned as this message, or as this builds out. Then there was a question about responsive WebDirect layouts. I assume that this is referencing the relative positioning that we spoke to, which is a new object in layout mode for web authoring that will allow you to quickly build layouts by simply dragging and dropping and having things move out of the way for you. That is separate from responsive layouts, where in browse mode, as you resize the window or as you go to different device sizes, your layout reflows. That is something that we are investing in and want to provide across all the clients and not just for WebDirect, but that's something that's a little bit farther out. I'll take a couple more on the client side. So with JavaScript working in the web viewer, or will JavaScript work in the web viewer? And the answer to that question is yes. That's where we're exposing our bidirectional communication support. The web viewer does, the second part of this question is, and if so, will the web viewer still have the same layering problems as it does now? What I imagine is being referred to here is where the web viewer is always the topmost layer. And that is going to still be a restriction of the web viewer, but something that we are looking at tweaking in the future. And then the final question I have here for now is, will Siri workflows work on macOS? So Siri workflow or shortcut support that we've talked about will be iOS only for now. But as Apple continues to evolve the Siri Shortcuts app on the desktop, we'll evaluate bringing support there.
Thank you, Robert and Sangeeta. So let me take a few more questions that came in. One is, does that mean FileMaker Server will be available for Linux and not just for Windows and Mac? So this is something that we addressed in some of the previous forums and even at some of the DevCons. As part of our multi-platform strategy, we are now building a Linux for FileMaker Server, and that's also part of our cloud-first strategy. If you look at our cloud FileMaker Server is already built on Linux. We are trying to bring that experience to on-prem, so that if you're a Linux fan, you can get the same cloud-like experience even for the FileMaker on-prem. So that is going to be our strategy going forward, unifying the experience for both cloud and on-prem. Then the next question, I think it's a little bit of a direct question. I like it. So there are so many features that need updating in the FileMaker platform. It seems like Claris' strategy is not to address these items, but instead encourage users to use JavaScript to create the needed functionality or connect to other services via APIs. This is the plan for the future of FileMaker. So if you look at the Claris, our strategy and mission is to enable our problem solvers around the world to create more modern experiences so that we can help our customers to participate in the digital transformation quickly and successfully. And as part of that, it's our obligation, it's our responsibility to embrace more and more modern technologies so that the applications that we build represents the best experience for our customers. So what we talked about the roadmap is some of the new capabilities that we are investing. In fact, FileMaker is also getting significant investment with JavaScript, cloud, and this also allows us the ability to recruit more newer problem solvers joining our community. It doesn't mean that we are not investing in upgrading on the performance, usability, and functionality of the core FileMaker platform. Some of the things that Rick and Robert shared are some of those enhancements that we are making in the platform. If there are some things that you need us to focus on, please do write to us, but we are investing in the holistic platform. But what we covered in the roadmap session is more of some of the new themes that we are investing in, both FileMaker and also the Claris products across the board. Sangeeta?
Yeah, so I would like to take the question on whether adding FileMaker Cloud Claris ID is mandatory for users or customers who have partners who have thousands of other customers. So we are working on other SSO providers like Okta, Ping, as I mentioned in my roadmap, as well as on-prem Active Directory integrations. So then this will give you the opportunity of not making your FileMaker ID or Claris ID mandatory.
Right.
There's a few questions here. One is, again, this goes back to ETS. Robert just mentioned it. What we will do is create a generic ETS email address that will come into product management. When we had a smaller ETS, which was just the FileMaker side of the platform, then it typically come to me or Robert directly. But now that we have more ETSs, we will have that. We'll post it to the community, and that will be the email address you use to request to get into our testing program. There's another question here about, it says that recent releases of server seem to have lost features from previous versions. And then there's a follow-up is, will this change and will SSL installation finally become simple? So for our on-premise FileMaker server, of course, this is still a competitive advantage in hybrid environments, but being cloud first, one of the things that Srini just talked about it is making available a Linux version of FileMaker server that you can run on premise on either platform. And that's going to be an investment that we're going to be making on the on-premise server. Also, we continue to invest in performance and addressing key bugs. And we understand and will make SSL installation as easy as possible. Of course, if you use FileMaker Cloud, it is just part of the package and is extremely easy.
And as a continuation of that is, as Sangeeta and what we talked about earlier is, we want to make the on-prem experience similar to that of a cloud. So the things we want all our problem solvers to be in the business of building apps, not worry about server administration and taking care of some of the mundane tasks. So that's part of the cloud first strategy. So all you do is, whether you're on-prem or on the cloud, log into the FCC or the unified console and start creating your apps, managing your apps, and sharing with the teams. And that's the business that we are in. Everything else will be taken care by Claris.
And one other last question that I want to address on the FileMaker Cloud regions, whether EMEA, Europe, or it's only going to be US. So we just launched Claris Cloud. Currently the region is US, but going forward, we are actively working on adding other regions, EMEA, Japan, Sydney, Singapore, and making sure that the data is available to the nearest country region wherever you are.
Any additional questions, Robert?
There has been a few questions about, are there any new features in FileMaker Pro Advanced? And yes, there are. As Srini said, we were focusing on our pillars of where we're making the future stuff that's coming. But I also did mention things like the add-on components. You heard Rick talk about dark mode, core ML support running on macOS. So there are features coming to FileMaker Pro Advanced as well.
Any additional questions here? There was one I saw, Sangeeta, about you mentioned the unified console, and the question was, will the admin API be a part of that, and will that be extended in the future?
Yes, it will be extended in the future. There is also, I would like to take another question on Claris Connect. Is it only for cloud, or will it also work with our server? So yes, it will work with our server. Claris Connect, we will have an on-prem agent which works for both a hybrid. Basically, it works cloud to cloud as well as our cloud to on-prem. And we will have out of the box Claris Cloud Connector to connect your FileMaker on the cloud as well as FileMaker on-prem.
Yeah. Just to test the power of the Claris Connect, I would invite somebody in the community to build a a connector for our unified console admin API. Yeah. So with that, I think we have lot more questions. As we said earlier, we're going to post for some of the questions that we didn't get an opportunity to share. We will post those answers in the community. And as always, we are super thrilled for all of you to partner with us. And we are in the exciting times at Claris. We're investing a lot in the FileMaker and the new products. And thank you for your partnership for the continued journey.